Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to this week's 3, 2, 1. That's 3 comments in the Parsha in 2 minutes with 1 insight. In Shlach this week, we get the 12 spies, 10 of whom come back with a bad report. The people of Israel don't know about the wandering yet. They think they're about to go into the land of Israel. They decide to send a representative from each tribe, 12, to go check out the land and come back and report on what it looks like, how they're going to do this, what's going to happen. Sounds like a reasonable plan, but when they come back, 10 of them, they all agree on the report, the observations are the same, but 10 of them come to the conclusion that, in fact, the people who live there are too mighty. We'll never get past them. They're giants. They're so strong. The land is amazing, but we are doomed. And it's a disaster, and that leads to the punishment of the entire generation being told they will pass in the wilderness, and only their children and their children's children will make it into the land of Israel. What I want to focus on is the failure, and it's a failure on 3 levels. The first is the sending of the spies to begin with. God's been saying, you're going in, you're going in, you're going in, you're going in. God's saying, I'm going to go with you. Everything's going to be okay. So why do we need spies to begin with? That's only a half failure, because you can sort of imagine that it might be useful to know which is the best roads, whatever, some logistics, where the best rest stops are. I don't know. But still, it shows a lack of faith. But presumably they could come back with a good report and it could build the people up. The second is the lack of faith. These 10 spies who see the greatness of the Holy Land don't believe it's possible. They don't believe in God, that God's going to take care of them. They don't believe in the Jewish people. They choose a pessimistic course instead of an optimistic one. They won't make it. And the third is the way they share that news. They don't come back and meet privately with Moses and Aaron and Miriam and let's come up with a plan, let's figure it out. They don't gather the elders of Israel and say, hey, here's what we got. I don't know how to tell people. They were loud and proud everywhere they could go, and they roused the populace to shout about everything and that they wouldn't be able to make it, and that ultimately leads to this punishment. In this, we get a kind of a tricky, somewhat nuanced lesson, because the truth is all of us have giants that we don't think we can overcome. A promised land we're aiming towards and a difficult path to get there. What we don't have is an explicit message from God. God doesn't come to us and say, you will conquer this obstacle, I will be with you. Our job is to choose holy and divine obstacles and believe God will be with us. And that is a really hard thing to do. Optimism in the face of deep challenge is extraordinarily challenging. But these 3 failures stand as a challenge to us. 1, it is possible to want too much information, to have too many meetings before you act. There's a famous phrase, the perfect as the enemy of the good. That we have to make sure that sometimes we just have to move forward. The second is that when we see difficult paths, our job is not to be stuck in them, to let them be our entire vision. But when we see challenges, our job is to see them as challenges, not as impossible walls. And third is, when we see challenges, hysteria doesn't help. Our job is to gather our people, to stay calm, and to think carefully about how to move forward. So this week, as we face all the challenges we always face, as we look towards our most holy missions, our purposes in life, and we see those challenges, I hope we're able to have enough faith to believe that they are overcomable, that we can get there. This week, I wish us strength as we face the challenges in trying to reach sometimes the real but often proverbial promised land. Shabbat Shalom.